Hello everyone, welcome to the presentation. This is Mohit Kayla from ENH iSecure Private Limited. Today I'm going to talk about the ETL process. Let's take a look at the agenda. In this presentation, we are going to look at what is ETL, why ETL, extraction, transformation, load, ETL tools and Clover ETL, which is an ETL tool. We are going to look at Clover ETL since it is one of the tool which is used in the identity management tool called Sailpoint. What is ETL? ETL is expanded as extract, transform, load. When we have different data sources from where we can extract the data and make modifications to it and load it onto the database or data warehouse, where from the various sources we gather the data and we perform the ETL process on it, and then we would load it on to a database or a data warehouse for the analysis or storage purpose. Why ETL? When we have organizations which generate lot of data and have lot of data present in their organization, in order to have an analysis of the organization we can use ETL process. In order to have an effective analysis of the process, the data must be accurate. Therefore, ETL process can be used to make the data clean and accurate. Transactional databases doesn't answer all the questions related to the analysis, and they are cumbersome. In order to have an effective analysis, ETL process is used on the transactional base databases for the analysis. Next, we can use ETL process to transfer the data from one database to another database. Next, we have when we have lots of data sources from which the data is extracted and can be formatted into the exact format of the analysis purpose. Extraction. This is the first phase of the ETL process in which extraction of data is done. The data is extracted from various sources and only the data which is required is checked and retrieved. There are three types of data extraction methods. They are update notification, incremental extraction, and full extraction. In update notification, some of the source system can identify the change in the data and send an update notification, which will be easy to extract the changed data only instead of whole data. Whereas in incremental extraction, some source systems cannot give notification but can identify the change. Then incremental extraction can be used. The drawback of this is we cannot find the deleted records from the data. The next one is full extraction. Some source systems cannot identify or update the notification. Therefore, the whole data is being extracted. Transformation. This is the next phase in the ETL process after extraction. In this process, the data has been extracted, will be cleaned and aggregated for the analysis or the storing purpose. Transformations can be of two types. They are multi-stage transformation and in-warehouse data transformation. So in first we will look at multi in-warehouse data transformation, which is an ELT process, which is also known as extract load transform process. Whereas an multi-stage data transformation process is an basic ETL process where the data which has been extracted will be stored in the staging area and the transformations will be performed on it. There are many types of transformations which can be performed on the data which has been extracted. Some of them are data cleaning, which is used to remove imperfections in the data Next, deduplication, which is used to remove the duplicate records which are found in the data. Next, we have format revision, which is used to revise the format of the records for the analysis or uniformity in the data. Next, we have key restructuring, which is used to establish the relations between the data and other records. Data cleansing is a process in the transformation phase, which is used to clean or remove the imperfections which are present in the data. As we can see in the figure on the right, the data which has been extracted from the various data sources has an imperfection in that data. Therefore, with the help of data cleansing process, we can either clean or remove the imperfections that will give us effective analysis when we have an analysis performed on the data. Why data cleaning is important? When the data is extracted from the various data sources, then the organizations will have to perform analysis on it. But the data which has been extracted will have different formats, inaccurate data, and error presence in the data. Therefore, the analysis which has been performed will be inaccurate and may be error. Then, with the help of data cleaning process, we can clean the data and have an effective analysis of the data. When the data is been cleaned with the help of data cleaning techniques, then the data is ready for analysis, which the organizations will be used to gain more inputs on their organization. Next, with the help of this, the productivity and revenue of the organization will increase, since the analysis will give a good review of their data. In order to have a good analysis, we should have a good clean data. In data cleaning process, some of the techniques which are used to clean the data are as follows. The first one is parsing. It is in this process, the data is located and identifies the elements in the data and isolates those elements. Next, we have correcting. In this process, the data which is having error or incorrect data will be corrected in this process. Next, we will have removing noisy data. We will discuss about this in the next slide. Next, we will have data standardization. When the data has been extracted, in order to have an equal and accurate data, all the data has been standardized into one format. Next, we have deduplication. When the data has been extracted, the data will consist of duplicate records. Then we can use deduplication to remove all the duplicate records from the data. Next, we have consolidating. When the data has a lot of same elements or same kinds of records, then they are consolidated and merged into one record. The noisy data is a data which doesn't have correct meaning to it. When data consists of noisy data, then the analysis will be inaccurate or maybe even wrong. This is the reason to remove the noisy data from the extracted data. The noisy data can be of the following. First one, removing spaces. When the data consists of extra spaces, which leads to an ineffective analysis, therefore spaces are removed from the data. Next, we have check for spellings. The data which have spelling mistakes can lead to an inaccurate results which will be not acceptable by the tool of the ETL. Therefore, checking the spellings is done. Format revision. In this, all the data is kept into one format. Therefore, it gives an uniformity in the data. Next, we have handling missing data. The data which is missing can be predicted or derived from the data which is related to it or nearby to it. Next, we have removing irrelevant observations, which having a extra set of imperfections and all the other stuff which is not needed for the analysis will be removed from the data. Next, we have removing duplicate records. The duplicate records will be removed from the data. Next, we have date and time formatting. All the date and time uh, data will be formatted into one single standard format. Next, we have removing unnecessary outliers. When outliers are present in the data, which will be ineffective for the analysis since it will throw off and value. Therefore, outliers are removed from the data. This is the data cleansing cycle, which is in much broader perspective of data cleansing. First, the data is loaded from various sources and then it is combined together at one place. After the cleaning techniques like removing noisy data, correcting, standardizing, deduplication, and then consolidation are done on the data. Then the data is loaded onto the database or the data warehouse for the analysis. Then again the process starts. Loading is another phase in the ETL process where the data which has been cleaned and aggregated as per the needs is ready to be loaded onto the database or data warehouse, where there are three types of loading techniques which they are as follows: full load, incremental load, and full refresh. The full load is a loading of the data onto the database, which is kind of a slow process since whole data is being loaded at the same time. Next, we have incremental load where the data is ready, which is being loaded onto the data while other data is being in the process of processing or cleaning. Next, we have full refresh. This is where the data is deleted from the database and then loaded again onto the database or data warehouse. In order to perform ETL process, we need an ETL tool. So some of the open source ETL tools are as follows: Clover ETL, Singer, Scriptella, and Bubbles. These are some of the open source ETL tools where we will look at Clover ETL in detail since it is been used by, say, the flagship identity management tool Sailpoint. Next we will look at Clover ETL. Now we are going to look at Clover ETL tool, which is an ETL tool which is used to perform ETL process, and it is also used by the Sailpoint. Clover ETL is an ETL tool to perform data integration and data transformation on the data which has been extracted, which is an open source ETL tool. It is an Java-based program, so it can be modified and embedded into other applications as well. It can be used as standalone application, which means it can be used from command line or any other application. The Clover ETL is now named as Clover DX. Next, we will look at the Clover DX Pack. The Clover DX comes with a pack. The, the pack consists of Clover DX Data Profiler, which is an data transformation tool and push data onto the application. Next, Clover DX Server, which is an web-based administrative interface for the ETL process. Next, we have Clover DX Designer, which is used to visualize the transformations on the data. The Clover DX Data Profiler is a module which is used to analyze the data. The data profiling helps you observe and maintain data quality. It is basically like data cleaning process with many options like mean, maximum, minimum, unique values and many more. We can choose the option we like to perform on the data and save it as a job and run it repeatedly. The steps for data profiling are as follows. First, we would gather the data, then specify the metadata for the data which has been gathered. Next, we would specify the metrics for the data. Next, we would specify sampling input data. Next, we would run the job, and finally we would observe the results. The Clover DX server gives all the tools which are needed in the ETL process, and it supports wide range of servers like Apache WebSphere, WebLogic. It is an Java application built to J2EE standards with HTTP APIs, providing an additional automation control for integration into existing applications and processes. It simplifies the processes like operations. It allows you to set up and monitor the statuses of the server and the jobs and notify via email if the job fails. Next, automation. It allows you to efficiently handle job flows, events via listeners and schedule tasks to be triggered as one-time events or repetitively as required. Next, administration. It helps you manage users and groups for their privileges, create and configure sandboxes, and export the configurations onto another instance of a server. Next, we have security. For better control over Clover DX server, you can set up user lockout and encryption sensitivity data. Now we are going to look at Clover DX architecture. The server is a Java application distributed as web application archive for easy deployment on various application servers. It is compatible with Windows and Unix like operating system. The Clover DX server architecture consists of core and worker. Core manages and schedules execution and provides management for UI monitoring. Next, the worker is a separate process which will be used for executing the jobs. The system database and file system are connected to core and worker. The core and worker will be communicating via TCP connections. The Clover DX Designer is an engine-based standalone application for creating and running graphs. The Clover DX Designer allows you to work easily with Clover DX Server. It is used to connect and communicate with server, create projects, graphs and other resources on Clover DX Server in the same way as if they were working with Clover DX Designer locally. The designer user interface consists of 5 panes. They are graph editor, navigator, outline, tabs, and execution tabs. This concludes our presentation on ETL process and Clover DX. Please do follow us on social media for more technological updates. Thank you.